Yeah. Folks, this is a 2026 Chevy Equinox EV. This is the cheapest electric vehicle that you can currently buy in the United States. Technically, I guess the Nissan Leaf is MSRP. They start at $29,900, but these have crept down into the mid-20s, brand new. So this will be my first time covering the Equinox EV. We're going to talk about how it compares to the Model Y. We're going to see how it charges. I'm currently in the middle of a plateau. Remember in school they taught us about plateaus? I took the drone up in the air. We're literally on a plateau. It's kind of cool. I'm going to take this on a road trip. We're going to charge it. I'm going to show you all the features it has. Let's just start with the charge port up front. So the charge port here, you would think, oh, it's 2026, it'll have a NACS, right? No, wrong, you lose. We have still CCS on this muffa, so that's all good. Max charging speed of 150 kilowatts, which isn't good. And this model, let me just come clean up front. This is 50 grand, okay? So if anyone's actually paying 50 grand for one of these, I think you're out of your mind. You shouldn't do that, but I'll explain how you can get a good deal on one of these. And this is also the front wheel drive variant, and that is the one that has the good deals. So this is the Rally Sport model, and you can see here we have this nice carbon effect, and you're like, whoa, are those intakes? No, they're not intakes, unfortunately, but it does have a cool look to them, to the fog light, and then you have this front light bar. So I do think the styling of this vehicle and some real pass-through vents here. You can see the light. Lord said, let there be light. And we have all of that going on. So you also have a front-facing camera. So this has the 360 surround view on it, which is a nice feature. But again, the price is a little out of control. Now, the color on this is called Radiant Red. It's some tri-coat. Personally, I like to call it Chobani Strawberry Red. I feel like that is a more appropriate term. Also comes with these blacked out 21-inch wheels with a 275 width tire, which is completely insane. That's a very thick tire and a large diameter wheel, and despite that, the ride quality is good. You can also see we got these self-presenting door handles, meaning they present themselves to you. I don't recommend you do that, but that's what the door handles do. And then you have the two-tone split drop top, with the top being black and then the bottom being red here. And we come around the back to what I think is a really cool looking light bar here on the Equinox. We'll go ahead. Here's what the key looks like. So we'll unlock it. Show some of the light features. We'll open that. Oh, what do we got going on here? Look at that little feature. That was cool. And then you have the blacked out Chevy badges. I think that looks really cool. I also think the blacked out Equinox with the EV blue E, because we're saving the planet. And then the RS badging here. And then you have these triangulated shapes right here, both on the rear and front. Backup cam, another cam right here. Yeah, baby. But overall, I think it's a good-looking vehicle. This also is on GM's INTOTHEAM platform, meaning this doesn't share the same chassis as the gas-powered Equinox. The gas-powered Equinox starts at $30,000. This starts at about like $33,000. So this is actually a good deal, plus it gets 319 miles of range. But we need to prove that. So I am currently on the road trip, like I previously talked about. We're in the middle of the road trip, so let's continue this trip and then see real world round trip what it gets, because on roads like this, the speed limit's 70, 75, 80 miles per hour. So I want to give you real world highway range and see how this thing does. Let's jump in the Equinox. Look at that presentation. Isn't that beautiful? Also, this steering wheel here, I mean, you feel like it just shouldn't have this nice of a steering wheel. This is like BMW quality feel. And you can see up here we got this light bar for Super Cruise, which we'll talk about shortly. Now, one thing to note, has cooled seats, has heated seats, and then in the rear, it also has heated seats. And you know, not only do you love this, you come to expect it from the Gjeebs organization, is how do we fit in the back? How does a 5'12" human being, holy, what am I in, a Mercedes S-Class? Look at this back seat room. And look at this. Because it doesn't share the platform with the gas Equinox, we have a flat floor. Dude, the Equinox, I don't know why. I'm 34. My nose hairs are growing long all of a sudden. Why is that? So the back seat of the Equinox has a nice bench seat. We got this little red fade here, and we got this right here. We're just fading. I don't know what that design language is. I think it's called the Red Death. Maybe you for Game of Thrones fans out there will call it the Red Wedding. So we do have heated seats back here, 3-stage. And then you got your 2 USB-C ports, and then you have no pocket here. So this is a government. And then you have your private equity group. You got a little pocket back here. You can bend the headrest. You get government lighting in the back, LED. Apparently it kills your mitochondria. And then we have a, we have cup holders here. But the last person that reviewed this car was a pig and put slop all through it. So that's interesting. Also got some BMW M stitching in the back. Overall, let's just cut, I'm talking too much. The back seat is very spacious in the Equinox EV. And you might be wondering, how spacious is this thing with the seats rolled down? It's about 54 cubic feet. To give you some comparison, the Tesla Model Y, which is a slightly bigger vehicle, 76 cubic feet. This has a much lower roof line. And that's that. I looked at the roof, I said, what a stupid roof. I like roofs with big glass and gold. I like this. Equinox, an American company. Mary Barra, she voted for me. Delete Me is a hands-free subscription service that will delete your personal information that's being sold online. Since I started using Delete Me 3 years ago, they have scanned thousands of listings with my information like phone number and address and removed it from 28 sites, saving me a ton of time and keeping my information private. Delete Me starts by having you fill out a profile of your name, common spellings, your phone number, address, or previous addresses you've lived at to find your information that data brokers are selling. These data brokers organize your data and then license it to sell to other data brokers or other organizations who can profit from your data. Delete Me helps mitigate this. And the best part is they keep removing your information every 3 months when it pops up on websites. Plus, as more data broker sites pop up, Delete Me will add them to their list and make sure your information is removed. You can also do custom removal requests to your privacy expert, and I recently used this where my information was being leaked from one website. They showed me a setting where I could turn off and it didn't show up in search. Delete Me is offering Gjeebs viewers 20% off Delete Me US consumer plans when you go to joindeleteme.com/Gjeebs20 and use promo code Gjeebs20 at checkout. There is also a link for international plans. Thank you, Delete Me, for sponsoring this video. All right, so driving the Equinox, you have the shifter, normal shifter, you don't have to worry about that. Touchscreen for the cooled seats. All of the buttons and all the familiarities of every gas car are packed into this. And that's why I think a lot of people will like vehicles like the Equinox from traditional manufacturers, is because you're not constantly going to the screen. It's very easy to get used to. With that said, I mean, you get used to the Tesla and Rivian stuff with only screens fairly quickly. Now, driving this, it is front-wheel drive. Its 0 to 60 time is 7.49 seconds. For comparison, the gas variant of the Equinox is about 8.5 seconds. So even though this is snow, I'm going to floor it. It is so geared down. I mean, they have this thing so turned down. Even when you floor it, it's a better kick than the gas car, and it doesn't have the awful sound of the 4-cylinder that has, so that's good. It's better. I'm just shocked at how slow they've made it. You can tell they've just tuned it down. I think the reason they did that is because you'd just be shredding front tires in this thing. So ultimately, it's probably good. It's quick enough. I just like EVs to be, you know, they have the ability to be so snappy, and I just wish that this was a little bit quicker. But they have the all-wheel drive version, which is quick. 0 to 60 is what, 4.9 seconds or something like that. So that one's quick. They have that option. This one is just really geared down. Now, where it feels nice, first of all, I've already talked about the steering wheel. It feels like it got plastic surgery, and hey, that's, you know, some people need it. But going around this turn right here, like it feels like I'm in a Mercedes or something, because it's so heavy and big that it just cruises over all of those small imperfections in the road. And then it has a really luxury feeling steering wheel. So it rides in certain cases much above its weight class. The problem I have is when I'm in parking lots like this, these pillars are so blind. I mean, it completely blocked out that Lexus, and when you're making like a right or left turn, you can't, it just kind of blocks out where the curbs and things are. So it's just a weird quirk that this vehicle has. The screens are nice when they work. Yeah, the driving dynamics of the vehicle, I would say, are good, and it punches up toward that $50,000 weight class. It feels like one of those. It's not that quick. You can also turn single pedal driving on and off, and that's nice too. Some people don't like it, some people like it. I think single pedal driving is absolutely the way to go with the EVs, because that's just going to reduce your maintenance down the road, and it's just a better way to drive, in my opinion. So we are on our road trip right now, and we're having some technical difficulties. The entire navigation system is not showing up. So it shows, the turns that we need to make, but it's not showing on this screen, and I checked it over here, it's not showing on this screen either. Super Cruise is working nicely, so that's been good. But yeah, for some reason, the entire navigation system is not working, and that's kind of a problem, but we're on our way. There it is, the famous last Saguaro, an American icon. A couple things while I'm on this road trip here that are worth bringing up. It has Super Cruise, so that means that's hands-free driving. As long as you are paying attention and it's one of their mapped roads, then you can use it. It has auto lane change, so right now the seat just vibrated. That was perfect timing. Wow. So we just did a lane change there. The seat vibrates on what side the car is going to move towards, so it has vibrations in them. Some women may really like that, and some men will too. My thing with that is I feel like that's a waste of money to make the seat vibrate. I would rather see them cut that out and cut cost on the vehicle, or add quality somewhere else. I don't think that adds much value if the seat vibrating for your lane changes. The other thing this has is a heads-up display. It's very clear, it's very easy to see, and you can adjust the height of it, so that's nice. When Super Cruise is on, the wheel is fidgety. It's constantly like jittering back and forth, which doesn't give me much confidence. In comparison, like Tesla's full self-driving, which is the best technology in terms of self-driving technology, it's never it can be jittery in parking lots, but like when I'm on a road like this, it's very smooth. And there we go, vibrating, and we're moving lanes again. The cabin noise is excellent. It's not very loud in here. It has a lower roof line, and no panoramic roof, but I'm fine with no panoramic roof. That's all good. And it's pretty easy to see out of in terms of just looking through your windshield. The one issue I have with it is through your A-pillar here, it's kind of blind. There are little windows over here that help, but overall, this is a pretty thick A-pillar, and you can't see much when you're in tight spaces as far as aiming the vehicle. But in terms of comfort, and in terms of the tech package that this has that adds Super Cruise, it also adds a feature where if you stand behind the car, the trunk automatically opens. It has the 360 surround view with cameras, heated and cooled seats in the front. It does add a lot to the vehicle, but for $50,000, I think you'd be crazy to buy one of these for $50,000. Now, if you are seriously looking to buy one of these, a friend of mine, his name's Ben, he owns a company called DriveEasier, where he calls in and negotiates the deal for you. So if you're looking to get one of these in a front-wheel drive variant, which this is, the service costs $900. Use code Gjeebs, and that'll make it $900. He will deal with your trade-in. He'll get you the best deal on this, and he can ship it right to your house. He's already done this with a few hundred of my subscribers. He's got a couple people Golf Rs, and the one that stands out to me the most is he got someone a Nissan Z for $10,000 off of MSRP, brand new. These have a ton of incentives, so if you don't want to go to the dealership and deal with all the haggling and the add-ons and all that stuff, he can do it for you, handle your trade-in, all that stuff remotely. So check out DriveEase. They will be linked in the description. I'll throw a QR code on the screen as well for DriveEase, because I just highly recommend that service. Next time I am buying a car that isn't Tesla or Rivian, I will 100% be using that service. But getting one of these in the $20,000 region with 300 miles of range, a quiet cabin, potentially Super Cruise technology, it does have dynamic cruise control, so it's probably going to be hard to find one in the 20s with the tech package that has Super Cruise in it and the 360 cameras. It's surprisingly a good value, and the more that I drive the car, the more that I experience it, the value becomes more apparent if you're not paying MSRP. One thing I've discovered on this trip specifically, where I'm using Super Cruise a lot, it has automatic lane changes on, I can confidently say that as of right now, this will change, but as of right now, this is the second best ADAS system on the market. And it's better than Rivian's universal hands-free. Now, Rivian has the ability to upgrade theirs, and probably within the next, probably before the end of 2026, Rivian will be ahead of Super Cruise. But this is doing lane changes beautifully. There's a couple times, like right now, it's telling me to take the wheel. Hands-free driving unavailable, take control. But in all fairness, universal hands-free from Rivian would probably do the same thing. Maybe not in this area, but in another area on the same trip. And then Tesla's full self-driving supervised is like light years ahead of both of these systems. Rivian, in my opinion, is the second best because it has the hardware and software stack to let Rivian's in-house engineers make improvements and roll them out via over-the-air updates. But I'm really impressed with Super Cruise and the value it brings on this cheaper vehicle that you can get brand new. Now, as we are sitting here running our charging tests, there's a few things I want to talk about. First of all, we are doing this at a Tesla supercharger, and the supercharger seems to be limiting the charge time. So you can see right here, the charge rate now is 95, and the car's asking for 96. Earlier it was like asking for 150 for most of the charging curve, and the chargers were only giving it like 100. So we'll see what this time ends up being. The other thing to talk about is when I'm driving the vehicle, like driving it through in a parking lot, the on-off throttle is very jerky. Normally in electric vehicles, it's very smooth. In gas cars, you have to wait for the engine to rev up and build torque and all that stuff. And EVs are generally smooth. This is jerky when you're going from a stop to a start, or like moving up a little bit in your parking space. So I don't like that. I like how the car handles. It handles very flat. It weighs 4,700 pounds. That's why it has a 6-lug system on the wheels. And I think what's shocking about this thing is it outsold the Mustang Mach-E, the Honda Prologue, and what shocked me the most is it outsold the Hyundai Ioniq 5, which I think is a really cool looking car. The other thing that's really bothering me is the infotainment system is not working. The navigation is offline, so you don't have access to charger data or any of that stuff. And that's been going on for 3 or 4 days now. So I don't know what the issue is. Also notice we got the RS branded into the seat there. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, there's features of this car that are that punch above its class. Ultimately, I think if you're paying $50,000 for one of these, that's absolutely not worth it. You should get a Model Y, or there's other options out there. But this is not worth $50,000. What it does really well, though, is it gets great range. It gets 330 miles of range is what the computer's saying. Sorry, it's saying 319 now. But if you drive more efficiently, I mean, you can get 330 miles of range out of this thing, and I think that that's pretty good considering the price point if you can get it in the $20,000 region for a new car. It does not have a good warranty on it has a minimum on the battery and minimum on the bumper to bumper, so the warranty is not good. Doesn't have Apple CarPlay. Ultimately, I think the Equinox EV is decent. I thought I was going to be a little bit more impressed. The car is just a pig. It's very heavy, and you feel that in certain situations. So it rides in some cases like a luxury vehicle. It doesn't feel like the gas Equinox, which can feel cheap. It doesn't accelerate quick, but it still beats the gas Equinox by a second to 60. You're looking at 7.4 seconds to 60 and 5.9 seconds to 60 if you go with the all-wheel drive model, which has like another 100 horsepower. But the all-wheel drive models don't have as good of discounts as the front-wheel drive models. So I think if you're gonna get one, you gotta go the front-wheel drive to get the discount, and then I think the car is a good value. So our 10 to 80% charge test took 46 minutes and 12 seconds and added 225 miles of range. For comparison, a 2026 Tesla Model Y takes 29 minutes and 25 seconds to go from 10 to 80%. So the Chevy Equinox was 16 minutes slower and only added 12 more miles of range in that time. However, like I said, I think there was a malfunction because of the adapter, and the Tesla supercharger was throttling the performance here. I've seen other independent journalists post in the high 30s range to go from 10 to 80%. So I think I had a little bit of an issue with my specific charger, but that was the result that I got. So not as fast as a Tesla Model Y, but decent. And here's the truth. Despite the charging not being great, the car has good range, it has good ride quality, the technology is decent, has a good ADAS system. If you can get this car for under $30,000 in the front-wheel drive model, and plus, most of 95 99% of your driving is just around town, you're looking for an electric vehicle to save money, this is an excellent option. Like, I highly recommend the Equinox EV. I'm not currently sitting in an Equinox EV. I'll let you guess what car I'm sitting in. But overall, price is everything with this vehicle. Under $30,000, it's excellent. Good range, good ride quality, decent technology. You can take it on a road trip and use Tesla's network. I wouldn't recommend it, but for around town, this is an excellent choice. Now, if you're wondering, what is a Tesla Model Y like? I own one. I've had it for a year now. You can click this video right here for my 1-year update on the Tesla Model Y. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, send me an email.